What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the ultimate Dynasty Warriors tier list you're gonna find on YouTube. I've got 8 content creators with me today, including myself, as we rank all of the Dynasty Warriors characters as of the latest game. Now, because there are so many characters and I have a lot of creators here helping me out on this one, we're going to be splitting the tier list into 4 different parts. And we're going to be starting off with the Kingdom of Wei in this video. And with that being said, I hope you all enjoy it. Let me know your guys' favorite from the Wei Kingdom. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Starting off for the Wei Kingdom, we've got the beautiful general himself, Zhang He. This is what everyone had to say when it came to the beautiful general himself.
I think Zhang He is a great character. He's really different than most of the other characters on the roster. And so I personally would put him in the A tier because any scene that he's in is going to be entertaining, and he has a serious side too, which is very nice.
The same. I really like Zhang He, but yeah, I think I might have to agree with you. I gotta put him in A. He's definitely one of the most unique characters in the entire game. Iconic too. Like everybody remembers Zhang He.
He stands a lot. His gameplay is really good. He's one of the faster characters in in the Wei Kingdom. I don't really see a Dynasty Warriors without Zhang He. I would put him on A.
Beautiful character, and he's the beautiful warrior. I'm gonna put Zhang He in the B category for now.
I mean, character-wise, he's easily one of the most unique characters in terms of his whole personality and his presentation. For me, at least, because of that, I'm gonna put him at a solid A.
I love his energy. I got nothing against him. I know, when you see the cutscenes of him just dancing and all that, it is I'll admit it is funny. I'll put him B.
Very iconic design for the game. I think Zhang He is one of those characters that I think has to go S. So iconic with the claws. Kind of doesn't belong in this historical period, but in a good way.
And then for me, Zhang He is one of those characters that will always remain in my heart. He was the character that I started the series with back in Dynasty Warriors 3. He's no longer an S character for me. He used to be, but because of his later iterations from Dynasty Warriors 6 and on, he kind of fell and landed in the A tier column. And then overall, looking at Zhang He from everybody's perspective, he is also going to land in the A category for this tier list. Moving on to the next person, we've got another 5 elite general of Wei, the Demon of Hefei, Zhang Liao. Here's what everyone had to say about him.
Zhang Liao, also another amazing character. You can't go wrong with him. Always has great movesets, most of the time has great voice acting, great design. So I would put Zhang Liao in S tier myself.
S. That man has both history and just the actual game representation. He's super dope.
Zhang Liao, a really good character. Moveset wise, I feel like both movesets are really well done for Zhang Liao, either the Blue Wyvern or the Double Axe. He's an A tier for me.
Zhang Liao, my favorite character. He is the most fearsome warrior. I thought with different circumstances he could have guided Lu Bu into ultimately possibly being his own leader. Go ahead and put my boy in the S tier.
He's easily got to be S tier. He was always my go-to Wei character. I always loved every single moveset that they had. I don't think the dude's even had really a bad design to him. I love his movesets. I love his designs. All of it is just great. He's a chef's kiss character.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites to play. Well, back in the day, when he had his pole blade, I absolutely love his weapon. Zhang Liao is definitely a good character. I'll put him at S.
Definitely a solid character historically. My impressions of him probably go back to Dynasty Warrior 2. And he always felt like a little bit of a copycat of Guo Yu. Still play A tier for me.
For me, Zhang Liao is the Dynasty Warrior. I love his principles and morals and everything that he stands on. His personality is really awesome. Of course, he got the Battle of Hefei. The only thing I really don't love about the character is his Twin Axe moveset. But even then, in Dynasty Warrior 6, I think it was great. It was the best version of that. Zhang Liao right now is my #1 character, so he's going definitely in the S tier for me. And with that being said, with so many S tier levels for Zhang Liao, he is going to overall make it also into the S tier. Demon of Hefei strikes again. Moving over to another elite general of Wei, we now have Yue Jin on the marker. Here's what everyone had to say about Yue Jin.
I think not bad as far as the newer characters of the series go. Don't know if he's anything too special for me personally, so I would probably put him in C tier.
I didn't like that they changed his moveset in 9. I thought that was really a hit to his character. put him in A.
I always think Yue Jin was one of those characters that should have debuted earlier. He hasn't really much to showcase, but I love the fact that they give hook swords. With that regards, put him on B.
Honestly, thought he would be playable sooner. I even visit Dynasty Warriors 4 Empires to play with him sometimes, but I don't know if I like how Koei adapted him. I think he's also in the B category.
Okay, I'll give him a solid B because I really liked him with his hook sword. I love his designs and just him as a character.
Don't have much to say about Yue Jin. I don't play him like that. When they first introduced him in 8, I was surprised about that. I'll probably say C.
He's gonna be a little lower on my list. One of the newer characters. My experience with Dynasty Warrior kind of dipped off as we got to the later titles. I think probably gonna go D tier.
And then for me personally, I like Yue Jin. I like the way he looked. I loved his hook blades, and he's always been a fun character for me to play. He's gonna go in A tier for me. And overall, he had a bunch of different levels, so he's going to fall actually in the B category. Next up, we got the coffin carrier himself, Mr. Peng De, taking the reins. Here's what everyone had to say about Peng De.
Peng De, I think, is a pretty cool character, and even back in the older games, he's pretty cool. So I'd put him in B tier, I would say.
I don't really like Peng De that much either. I would be fine without him. I put him in D tier.
Peng De is an interesting character. He has a very loyal attitude to whoever he's served. I feel like that's a really good characterization. Moveset wise, I do like both movesets. Put him on B.
Very interesting character. I really liked his double pikes. I'm gonna go ahead and put Peng De. I'm gonna have to put him in the B as well.
Like, I think the character's pretty cool. I don't see him as anything super crazy or game-changing for me. So I'm gonna give him a C.
I play him once in a while. As a character, I'll put him at C as well.
His kind of calling card is just the coffin march. The weapon also goes with that. I'm gonna put Peng De up there in B.
Overall, I think the character is great. I wouldn't want to play him, so he's just a B character for me. And then overall, because of so many of the B slots for Peng De, he's going to land in the B category overall with Mr. Yue Jin. Next up, we've got another elite general of Wei stepping up to the plate, the White Knight of Might himself, Mr. Xu Huang. Here's what everyone had to say about him.
Xu Huang is a personal favorite of mine. Obviously, really good moveset, I feel, and really good design as well. He doesn't always get a ton of spotlight in the Dynasty Warriors games, which is a shame. But I think he's really cool, and so I'd put him also in the A tier.
Honestly, he's an S. He's super fun to play in like almost every Dynasty Warriors game. And he's not controversial whatsoever. Just you can't slight his record or profile. Huge respect, yeah.
The most underrated Wei character. He is the hero, he's the true warrior of Fan Castle. For that, again, because being the most underrated character in Wei, put him on A.
I enjoy the fact that he has a unique moveset. I really like the White Knight. I'm going to put my boy in the A category.
I like the Great Axe moveset. I really like his character. I actually kind of liked his stuff from the older games more. I'll give him a B.
I'll play him, and after that, it's just not really. It's just one of those once in a while characters for me. Yeah, I would definitely say C tier as well.
He has that white look. I think they did a callback to his origins. He used to be part of the White Wave Bandits. Kind of work well with him. I think I'm going to put him in A.
Xu Huang is one of my favorite characters from this game. I've always liked the way he looked. His moveset's always been really fun. Big AoE. He's going to be an S tier character for me as one of my favorites. And with the final letter coming in, his overall ranking for Mr. Xu Huang is going to be the A category. Now, moving on to one of the geniuses from this time, we've got Xun Yu. Here's what everyone had to say about him.
Xun Yu, I think, is a decent character. You know, I don't know if Xun Yu does a ton for me personally to kind of stand out from the rest. And so I think I would put him no higher than C tier.
I would say Xun Yu is one of the better ones I would put in to represent the Wei strategist. Put him in B.
Xun Yu is an interesting character, and I wish he was done more. I don't want to put him on B because I don't want too many characters on B. I'll put him on C.
Xun Yu, a very interesting strategist. I didn't really like the moveset all that much. I'm going to go ahead and throw him in the C tier for now.
He was pretty cool presentation for him, and then he went from that really cool weapon that he had in 8 Empires. Then he ended up getting just the regular throwing knives, which hurt him a little bit. I'll probably put him at a C as well.
I know, like historically, he seems like he actually means well. Gameplay wise, I know like when he has his wand, and then 9, they just gave him the throwing knives, which I think that was a bit of a downgrade in my opinion. I would definitely say D.
Have not played much with him, so it's not a thing against his moveset. He's one of the key advisors. I think, historically speaking, he deserves a slot, but in terms of game character, I think just lack of experience with him, I'm gonna put him probably in D tier as well.
And then for me personally, I think Xun Yu is an okay character. He's not a character I'm going to run to play. I like his personality. I like the relationship that he has with certain characters, so just watching that puts him in C. And then overall, for the renowned strategist himself, he's also going to overall land himself in the C category, right smack in the middle. Let's go ahead and move on to the next person. The next person on the list is going to be his nephew, Mr. Xun Yu. Here's what everyone had to say about one of the newest additions from the game, Mr. Xun Yu.
I can't explain why, but I like him a little bit more. I don't know if he's going to go to B tier. I think he'll be in C tier.
Xun Yu, I'd put him in D with the Pangde.
He has a good moveset, his design is interesting, but I always feel like his character is kind of there. I'll put him on C.
Actually, didn't mind his moveset. I'm going to throw him in there with the other Xun and throw him in there in the C category.
So I actually played a lot with him, which for me, he kind of a Su Shu, but like a little better version of him in a way. Honestly, I love him. I'm gonna put him at A.
I actually like his. I like his gameplay, especially the weapon sword. But yeah, like his game, like the way how he plays and all that. I definitely like it. I would say B tier.
I have played him a little bit. I feel like he's like what I meant by some of the later characters look all the same. His face just does not, like, his entire character just doesn't look that distinct for me. So I'm going to put him right up there with his uncle, put him in D.
And then for me personally, Xun Yu, he was an interesting character. He was probably among the newer characters that I actually kind of liked. I liked the way he looked. He had an intriguing kind of personality. So for me, he's actually going to land in the B category. And then overall, the character is going to fall into the C category. He's going to go into the C category with his uncle. Let's go ahead and move on to the next person. And the next person is going to be one of the originals from the Wei Kingdom, and that's going to be Mr. Xiahou Yuan.
Xiahou Yuan, I think, is a great character, partner in crime with Zhang He. I'd just say always, funny, energetic, always entertaining when he's around, so I'd put him in A tier.
I didn't actually care for this character that much up until Dynasty Warriors 7. Like, he's like the super smiley dude, super nice dude. I actually really like him. I'd put him in A tier.
He's an important character. I do not see a Dynasty Warriors game without Xiahou Yuan, so just from that alone, goes in A tier.
A lot of respect for Xiahou Yuan. A really good character. I personally beat the game in Dynasty Warriors 3 with him first because I liked his moveset. I like him. I've been playing with him quite a bit in Dynasty Warriors 9 as well, so go ahead and throw my boy in the A.
One of the most lovable characters in all Dynasty Warriors, 100%. In terms of his moveset, I found him to be fun when he had like the iron sword. I liked the bow and rod though, where he had a melee and then his charge attacks would be the bow. I'm gonna give him an A.
He's definitely a cool character. I'll definitely put him in B.
I like him. I think when I was younger and played the earlier Dynasty Warriors, I didn't like him at all. And then he's like the lesser cousin. But overall, I think he's pretty solid. I'm going to put him up there in B.
Xiahou Yuan's a great character. I like his personality. Again, relationships are really good for the character. But for me, he's going to fall to the B category. He's, again, a character that I'm not going to really play as. And then overall for the character, Mr. Xiahou Yuan's going to squeak his way into the A category. And that's all I have for one of the originals from the Wei Kingdom. Next up, we've got his badass cousin, the one-eyed man himself, Mr. Xiahou Dun. Here's what everyone thought about him.
I don't know if I'm as huge of a fan of him as maybe other Dynasty Warriors fans are, but I can always respect great moveset. And so I'd say he can go in B tier above Pangda.
Put him in A tier, the very top of A tier. He's super bad. Actually, put him in S tier. Actually, I remember he ate his eye. Put him in S tier. Top 3 iconic moments in Three Kingdoms Dynasty Warriors history.
S tier. Xiahou Dun is easily one of my favorite characters in the Dynasty Warriors. Like his overall characterization, how he's super loyal to Cao Cao. Again, Xiahou Dun is one of those characters you just cannot have Dynasty Warriors without Xiahou Dun.
What can we say about the one-eyed wonder, right? He's got a lot going on. Oh, I mean, what more needs to be said? I think that Xiahou Dun is probably in the A category.
S tier, easily. Don't even have to second guess it. The dude has never had a bad presentation with his character, his designs, his movesets. Even when he had that spiked club, I actually kind of liked it. You can't go wrong with Xiahou Dun. Easily, one of my opinion, one of the definitive characters of Wei.
Xiahou Dun, the badass himself, gets shot in the eye and then pulls that arrow out. Oh my gosh. Just think of it, just creeps me out. I'll definitely put him at A.
Historically speaking, not as impressive, even less impressive than his other cousin that we just put in B, but I think for the game purpose, having that one eye look also with the small in your eyeball, definitely up there in A.
And then for me, Xiahou Dun's going to break a principle of mine. I don't really use a lot of sword users, but Xiahou Dun was actually a really fun character to play with. His moveset was always really fun. He's got that personality, that badass ray. He's always looked really cool to me. For me, he's going to shoot straight up into the S tier. And then overall for the character, everybody decided that Xiahou Dun's a pretty badass character. He's also going to land in the S category for the overall ranking as well. Alright, next up we've got the sly, sinister Mr. Jia Xu. Here's what everyone had to say about him.
Jia Xu is, I think, a fantastic character. I think Dynasty Warriors really needed, especially at the time. That's kind of a character that's not necessarily 100% morally good. I would put Jia Xu at the beginning of A tier.
Jia Xu's cool. Very sarcastic, air-free strategist dude. I put him in low A.
I really love Jia Xu. Sarcastic personality. Moveset-wise, I like the chain and single. So I put him on A.
I appreciate Jia Xu. I'm probably going to throw him in the B category.
I'm gonna go straight to it and give him an A. I'm not crazy about a lot of his movesets. His designs are fantastic. How can you not love the character?
I'll say Jia Xu. I'll say D tier.
Character design wise, I like his look. Yeah, and his weapon's also kind of iconic. I like him quite a bit. I think I'm going to put him also in A.
Jia Xu's an okay character. He's not a character that I would run to play. The scythe weapon has never been intriguing to play. I like the way he looks, but for the most part, he's just an average character for me. He's going to land in C. And then the overall ranking for the character, Mr. Jia Xu is going to sneak his way into the B category, and that's all I got for the sly strategist. Moving over to his best friend, we've got Guo Jia coming up to bat. This is what everyone had to say about him.
Guo Jia, I think, is a cool character, has a great theme song in Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends, and so I would put him probably at the front of B tier.
His weapon is super fucking fun. Like it's like one of the most unique, bizarre things, like a pull and ball. I put him at the very top of A.
I like the way Guo Jia is showcased in Dynasty Warriors 8. Moveset wise, I do like his billiard stick. If Zhou Yu gets his sword back from Dynasty Wars 4 and 5, give the bow staff to Guo Jia. I think the bow staff fits really well for Guo Jia. Put him on A.
He's pretty renowned. I think that he made his case be known in multiple missions, especially throughout the earlier games. But in the newer games, making him playable, it was needed. I'm gonna throw him in the same category with the other two in C.
Character-wise, he's good. Weirdly enough, I do like the pool cube weapon. Probably number 2, while Jia Xu's number 1, and then Xun Yu is probably number 3 for my favorite strategist. So yeah, I'll give him a solid. I'll give him a solid A.
You know, I always wanted Guo Jia to be playable before he actually came out. One of Cao Cao's best strategists. I'll definitely put him in B tier.
I don't know. He's an impressive strategist. I think historically speaking, one of Cao Cao's favorite. I just don't love the way he's represented in the game that much, so I think I'm going to probably put him in C, just because I don't like the character design as much.
Guo Jia is an interesting character. He has an interesting look. Doesn't really bother me. I was never really a fan of his weapon style. I think I like the staff on him a little bit more. And because of that, he's just average and going to land in the C category for me. Overall, though, a well-rounded, liked character, if that makes sense. He's going to land in the above average category, which is going to be B. So he joins his best friend in the B category. Let's go ahead and move on to probably the character that's been done the dirtiest in the game, which is going to be Mr. Xu Chu. Here's what everyone had to say about him.
A character that maybe has grown on me a little bit over the years. I think early on I just didn't really pay any attention to him at all. I probably would have put him, in F tier a few years ago. Kind of a fun character to have, I guess, and definitely done dirty by the games. And so I would say Xu Chu goes at the end of C tier.
So I believe Xu Chu is probably the most horrendously done character in Dynasty Warriors. Gotta put him in F. He's more portrayed as like fierce and decisive, but he's like dopey in Dynasty Warriors.
Xu Chu, oh my god. I don't hate him as much as people do. He's kind of like a comic relief character. Moveset wise, I was never too crazy with the club. I'll put him on B.
But he'll never let Cao Cao go into a mission without having a full stomach. And that's something that should be appreciated. I have a soft spot for Xu Yu. So I'm going to throw him up there with Zhang He.
He's such a lovable guy. He is, but I hate clubs. I despise the clubs with a passion. The only saving grace is from getting an F is his lovable personality. I'm gonna have to give him the D tier.
Not a character I always play. I love like the personality that he shows, and like always talking about food, which is funny. But yeah, I don't play with him as much. I feel bad for this. I'll probably put him in F tier.
He's been done pretty dirty. Impressive bodyguard general, but I actually like what they did with him. He feels different and also one of the OGs. And I actually want to put him up there in S with Zhang He. I think his design is iconic. Yeah, I liked him quite a bit.
Xu Yu is an interesting character. His role in the novel is actually amazing. It makes me not like the character. The club has never been fun, and then the way they made him is just not that great in terms of the way he talks, his voice acting. So he's gonna drop down to the D category for me. And then overall for the big man of Yan himself, he's going to land right in the middle of the list at C, and that's all I have for him. Now, moving on to one of the newest additions from the Wei Kingdom, we've got the master of traps himself, Mr. Man Chong. Here's what everyone had to say about him.
Yeah, Man Chong, another one of those strategists. But I think I like Man Chong well enough. You know, has some fun scenes with the others, and so I'd put him at the end of B tier.
His role could be filled by all the other strategists in the game. He didn't really play much of a role in his role either. They could have probably gave the roster spot to someone else, to be honest.
I like the way Manchong is portrayed in Dynasty Warriors 9. Like, my biggest problem with him is his moveset. It's not good. I'll put him on B.
As soon as Mang Chong was playable, I had to play with him. I respect Mang Chong. I remember him vividly as an NPC in Dynasty Warriors 3. Very misrepresented. It's a kind of a shame in my opinion, but I'm gonna throw him up there. B.
And he's pretty deep. He's pretty cool to me. But the weapon that he has is pretty fun too. Design looks great though. Love it. Since I haven't really played with him yet, I'm going to stay neutral and give him a C.
Yeah, when they first introduced Manchong, I actually thought that was pretty neat. Like the Castle Fei, he mostly helped with that. So that just made me think like, oh, just being, like totally unique and different. Manchong, I put him as B.
Another character who I've not played very much, so I don't think I'll drop him that low. He's also kind of weird to be picked to add to the roster in my opinion. I'm going to drop him in D.
I like the way he looked. Shooting Blade Spear is not a good weapon. I like his personality, and I like his relationship with Cao Ren. Like, his relationships and personality is bringing him up here into C. And then, even though he was a newer addition overall, the character gets an average score, putting him in the C category. Next up, moving on to the vengeful Wang Yi. Here's what everyone thought about her.
Wang Yi was, I would say, a character that I didn't really like a ton when she came in, but again, another one that I've kind of warmed up to over time. Has some cool movesets. I'd put her probably at the beginning of C tier.
Probably has one of the most iconic theme songs in the entire series. Both of her weapons are really good. I prefer the twin size. Yeah, let's put her in A tier.
I like her addition in Dynasty Warriors 7 and 8. Moveset wise, the Sai or the Trishula's the best moveset for Wang Yi. The Amazing Piercers, like, I'm not too crazy with it. Like, put her on A. I'll put her on A.
Not too familiar with Wang Yi. I like her moveset. I'm going to throw her up there in the B category behind Yue Jin.
S tier. One of my favorite female characters in Dynasty Warriors. Love the whole lust for revenge. I loved her moveset. I loved all her designs. She's one of my favorite characters of all time in Dynasty Warriors. So yeah, she's an easy S tier for me.
Such a vengeful person. She wants Ma Chao's head. I like the Trishulas. I'll definitely put her at A tier.
I like the fact that Dynasty Warrior gave her attention pretty early on, and they gave her like a pretty fleshed out storyline with Ma Chao being kind of the antagonist. They really played the revenge part a little bit too hard in my opinion. This one's tough. Let's put her in C.
She's an okay character. She's not somebody I would run to play with. However, her newer weapon style, the Amici Piercer, the little dagger she has, is really, really fun. Because of the weapons alone, she's going to jump up to the B category. And then overall, Miss Wang Yi is going to land in the B category as well, scoring enough points to get her in here. And that's all I have to say about her. Moving on, we've got the questionable Li Dian. He's always got something interesting to say. Let's hear what everyone else says about him.
I think I find Li Dian pretty funny. but I think it's a safe bet to probably put him in C tier.
His weapon's super cool. It's like a chainsaw axe thing. His debut in 8, he was like one of the characters I was really interested to play, or like really hyped to play. I'd put him next to Yue Jin, yeah.
He's basically Wei's version of Ling Tong. He's one of the few characters I feel like needs to be explored more. Moveset wise, he's fine. Any moveset is fine for him. I'll put him on C.
Always had a soft spot for Lidian. I felt like he should have been playable a lot sooner. Kind of misrepresented, honestly. I think he's in a lot of the discussion when it comes to Dynasty Warriors, especially on the Wei side. We're going to throw him in there with the B.
I'd probably put him literally right next to Yue Jin in B. His movesets are really fun. I actually did like him also with the Guan Yu type of weapon and moveset too. Adore the moon spade that he has. Yeah, solid character. Really like it.
Oh, Mr. I'm always in love. Forget I even said anything. I'll put him in B tier. I know his Dynasty Warriors 8 weapon, I wasn't really much a fan of it. The weapon for 9, I feel like that was a lot more him.
I don't hate him. I think the weapon's nice, but overall, it's another one of those character design where I look at him and I just don't see anything unique about him. Let's put him in C.
Wield Halberd was fun. I just think it was a little over the top. The little shovel that they got him, that was great. But the character himself, I think he's lacking a lot of chemistry with the people around him. And because he's questionable, that's the reason he's going to drop in D for me. And then overall for the character, he barely squeaks his way into this category, but he makes it into the B category. And that's all I have for him. Moving on to the musical composer herself, Mrs. Cai Wenji. This is what everyone had to say about her.
Personally, not really a big fan. Also another one where I'm kind of like, I don't really know too much why she's in the game. The harp's not bad. I'd say she's probably the first one that I'm going to throw in the D tier.
She is my main in Dynasty Warriors Overlord, so I have a little bit of recency bias. Ever since her debut with the harp, she's been one of the more fun characters to play. You know, put her at the top of B.
I sometimes forgot Cai Wenji exists. She's gorgeous. I will say she's gorgeous. I'll put her on D.
She's beautiful, first off, and I appreciate Koei kind of venturing out into a lot of the female characters. So I'm going to throw her up there. Let's see. Let's put her right behind Lidian.
God, if there's ever a character I've been so neutral about, I feel like she just hasn't gotten enough to really get showcased. I'm gonna give her. I'll give her probably like the C plus.
Wenji, I'll put her in A. Like I like playing as her, mostly with her harp, not the whip.
I think I'm gonna put her. Let's drop her in F. I don't think they really need to be in the game. I mean, a lot of the female characters get instruments.
I don't have any feelings of negativity or positivity for Cai Wenji. She's just a character that kind of floats into the background for me. The harp is not a weapon I would want to play. The whip's not a weapon I would want to play. So for me, she's going to fall into the D category. And then overall, for the poet herself, she's going to fall into she barely squeaks into the C category, just above average. And next up, we have another musical wielder, which is going to be Miss Zhenji. Here's what everyone had to say about the Ice Cold Princess.
Zhenji, I think, is a good character. Definitely, I think a good idea to have her, whoever chose to have her in really early on. I'd put her in the C tier.
Flute moveset, I actually don't like any of her movesets in any of the games, to be honest. Just put her in B above Cai Wenji.
I like Zhenji. The flute, it's a unique weapon. I do not want to see Zhenji wielding any weapon but the flute. For that, I'll put her on B.
She's one of the first playable characters. The female, let's go ahead and throw her in the A category. She's saucy with that flute.
Always loved her with the flute. I also think I think the only design I didn't vibe with too much was her 7th design. Probably has one of the most broken weapons in Dynasty Warriors 9. So broken, it crashed my game on occasion, but it was super fun to play with. She'll go probably like that A+.
S tier, no question. Yeah, I'm a Zhenji fan. I like the way how she presents herself. I like it. The way how they always have her dress, and also the flute weapon. Definitely a favorite.
They have a pretty good design concept on her, even though it's not really historical. The flute earlier weapon, it's pretty iconic. Put her in B.
She's okay. She's never been a character I wanted to really play. Flute, I respect, and it's very iconic. Not gonna play the weapon though. She has a decent look to her. She's just an average character for me, so she's gonna land in the C category. And then overall, she's gonna end up in the higher end for this tier because she did accumulate quite a bit of points, but she's gonna land in the B category overall for this list. Next up, we've got the Ice Cold Prince. we've got her husband, Mr. Cao Pi. Here's what everyone had to say about Cao Pi.
I really liked, at least when he first came in the series, he's really like, oh, I'm not my father. Definitely a character I like a lot. I would go ahead and put him in the B tier.
Yeah, he was one of my favorites to play in 5 for sure. His weapon's super cool, super unique. Played him a lot in Warriors Orochi too. A personal pick, I'd put him in S tier.
He is one of my favorite characters to play as. I like his dual swords. I also like his Dynasty Warriors 6 weapon, the long sword. I feel like that's a really, really good weapon for Cao. I would put him on S for sure.
Go ahead and throw her husband up there too, though, while we're on the topic. I think she made him who he was, so let's go ahead and throw him behind. But he had a very nice moveset in Dynasty Warriors 5. I really appreciated the dual sword, and I'm glad they incorporated that.
S tier. Love Cao Pi. His movesets were always great. Don't think he's had a bad design. He's probably not the most interesting to some. I just like them a lot. I like his attitude, his personality, his cockiness, all of it. I love it. It's great. He's great. That's an S for me.
I play him sometimes. It's like if he's used right, he's definitely a good character. I'll put him at A.
Yeah, the dual sword, like he was known to be a decent swordman. I actually really like Cao Pi's design. Put him in A tier.
I was a big fan of Darth Maul back in the day. This guy had the dual swords. I thought it was aesthetically one of the coolest looking weapons. Personality, I think, goes in and out. I really like the way he was defined in Dynasty Warriors 9. So for me personally, he's also going to shoot up to the S tier. And then overall for the character, he literally had the lowest number in order to squeak into the category, but he still is an S tier character overall. Let's go ahead and move on to the next member of the Cao family, which is going to be Cao Ren. Here's what everyone had to say about Cao Ren.
Another one of my favorite characters that I think maybe doesn't get a ton of spotlight. I think different than a lot of the Cao family, at least in the older games, to where he was really all about protecting the people. He's really cool in that aspect. I would put him in A tier.
Whenever I think of Cao Ren, I always think of like the biggest loser. He is like the most common mini boss. Always fight him at the end, and he's always seen running away. Let's put him in C tier.
It's criminal to me that Cao Ren only had one stage in Dynasty Warriors 8. Moveset wise, the shield should be his primary weapon. Nothing else. All right, I'll give it on A.
He had a really cool spike shield. I like Cao Ren. I like his moveset. I like his tenacity. I like that he's able to lead Wei in circumstances when they didn't really have a leader. So I'm gonna throw him up there in the A category.
So I'll probably put him immediately at least behind Huang in B tier. When he first came out in Dynasty Warriors 4, I played with him quite a bit. I thought his shield was super cool. I really liked it. It was just something different.
For Cao Ren, I'll try to do my best to make this short. When they first introduced him in 4 and I saw how he looked, I was like, not what I expected. The bucket shield is definitely a good look on him. I will definitely put him in D tier.
But I'm gonna put him in B. He was a versatile general. He defended in a lot of battles, and because of that, they give him a shield as a weapon. And when they first introduced him, I remember vividly, I hated playing him. He's short, stubby, and just was slow.
He's always been a really cool character. I've always enjoyed him. Sword and Shield has always been really fun to me. His armor's always been cool. I like characters that have that armor warrior type look. So for me, he's going to fall into the A category. And then overall, he's right in the middle for this category. He's going to fall into the B category. Master of Defense cracks another one and makes it into B. Moving on to the next member of the Cao family, the newest member of the Cao family, we have Xiahou Xu. Here's what everyone had to say about him.
I think Xiahou Xu is, a little forgettable. For that reason, I'd probably put him in the D tier.
His design's really cool. His weapon's really cool. But I don't think he belongs in the story. I'd give him like F tier.
His design, I do think his design is really good. I like Xiahou Xu's weapon. I think it's very creative, the fan sword. I'll put him on C.
I appreciated Xiahou Xu when I first got Dynasty Warriors 9. I played with him quite a bit. I didn't really like the whole fan sword. I like Koi's effort, but he's C tier for me.
The moveset for it, I'm not super crazy about those the paired swords, whatever they call them. I'm probably gonna put him at least in C.
I like the sword fan, like personality, this thing get my lord and all that. At first it's okay, then as it becomes a little too much. I'll definitely put him in C tier.
He doesn't feel interesting enough to play, I guess, just by the look. I think all the newer characters suffer from this a little bit. Gonna drop him in just because I've never played as him.
I liked his addition in Dynasty Warriors 9. I did not like the weapon, but I like the way he looks. I think he's depicted really, really well, and because of that, he's going to land in the B column. And then overall, just a couple of points shy of the next category, he's going to fall into the D category, and that's all I have for the Thousand League Pawn of the Cao family. Moving over to the patriarch himself, the hero of chaos, Mr. Cao Cao. Here's what everyone had to say about him.
Cao Cao, I think, a great character. You know, I would say he probably goes at the very front of the B tier.
S tier. I think everything was affected and orchestrated by Cao Cao. Yeah, he's just super cool. Yeah, he's one of my favorites for sure.
As the toppest of the top. This is basically the guy who created the story. Probably the most complex character.
Probably my favorite of the three. He can go in A.
He is S tier for me. Easily my favorite ruler of the three kingdoms. One of the most interesting characters in Dynasty Warrior. I could not see it like anything without Cao Cao being like the main focal point.
Cao Cao S tier. So pretty much like Dynasty Warriors 2 and all the way to now, like he always been my favorite character. I think like mostly because of the way how he presents himself.
I never liked playing the leading character in the faction. It's a very boring sword moveset, like his son with the dual sword with the ice element. So much better, right? I'm gonna put him in B.
Cao Cao is the best leader out of all the leaders in the game. He's amazing. His personality, his philosophy, everything about the character is really, really good, but his weapon style for me just doesn't do it for me, and that's why he's gonna land in the A tier. And then overall for Cao Cao, he's going to land in the A category, pretty much one of the highest ones from A. He was 1 point away from the S tier. Definitely a well-liked character. Next up, we've got Cao Cao's undying bodyguard, an absolute monster on the field of batter, Mr. Dian Wei. Here's what everyone had to say about him.
I think Dian Wei is a decent enough character. I think he's just fine, and so I'd actually probably put him in C tier.
Let's put him in A tier. Giant ass, one-handed axe. I liked him in the PS2 era.
A really good character. I love his moveset. Like, character-wise, again, he's bold. He comes out from a humble beginning, and then Cao Cao recruit him for his strength. He's also loyal to Cao Cao. He's good friends with Xun Yu. I'll put him on A.
Hey man, this guy's a beast. There's nothing else to say about him. I hate that he had to go out the way he did at Wang Castle. I'm gonna go ahead and throw him in the B category.
It sucks because he was so short-lived, and that's one of the big things that hurt him. I think he easily he probably gets above Yue Jin in the B tier. I thought the axe was a really cool moveset, and it really fit that kind of like, I mean, just look at the dude. Look at that bald man right there. Of course, like the axe is a perfect fit for him.
Dian Wei, I don't use as much, but I definitely like how he protects Cao Cao. I'll probably put him at D tier.
This is a personal thing. I'm putting him in S because he was my main in Dynasty Warrior 2, and I played him basically every series, and he's the only character I would grind for the best weapons.
Similar to some of the other people I've already mentioned, he's not a person I'm going to run to play with. He also, for me, had the worst weapon in Dynasty Warriors ever. The ball and chain from Dynasty Warriors 6, he's going to land in the C category. And then overall, for the monster bodyguard himself, he's going to land towards the middle of this category, which is going to be the B tier. And then finally, coming to the last member of the Wei Kingdom that is currently playable, we've got Yue Jin. Here's what everyone had to say about him.
I really like the inclusion of Yue Jin. I like that he's a character that is not really always sure of himself, and so I think he's firmly in C tier.
I think he's super good, but like his most defining moment is surrendering at Fawn Castle. And if that's like the best thing on your biography or portfolio, kind of have to take points away from that. Yeah, let's put him in C tier. He's fun to play.
I do like his, strict nature. I do think he needs more exploring, so I'll put him in B.
I enjoy playing with him. I like his moveset. I like his trident. So I appreciate his character. Very stern. Let's throw him in the B category.
He's going to be A because his designs felt with the last two games felt pretty consistent. He was always a character that I really, really wanted to see in a Dynasty Warriors game.
I'll put him B tier. Like in the game, he looks like he's like one for like command respect, and it's like, if you don't follow his orders, then you will be punished. It's funny. The weapon that he used is definitely, I actually like it. It's really strong.
I think he has a nice look. Trident weapon. I played him quite a bit as well. I don't mind him. Let's put him in B.
And then for me, I like Yue Jin. I think he looks really good. I think he's another well-constructed character. So for me, he's going to fall into the B category for me. I think he had a really, really fun weapon style. And then overall for the character, going to land exactly in the same spot as the last character, getting the exact same amount of points. He's going to hit straight into the B category. And that's all I have for Wei. So we're going to end it here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the tier list for the first part. We've got 3 more parts coming. Make sure you check them out. Shu, Wu, and of course the Jin and other kingdoms. So the first part of the tier list is done. All the way people have been placed. Hope you guys enjoyed it. What do you guys think? Who's your favorite character? Was anybody placed a little high that you didn't think was going to be that high? Anything like that? Let me know down below. Shu is up next. They're going to be added on. Let's see where all the characters of Shu end up going. But with that being said, that's all I have for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to check out part 2, and I will see you all in the next one.